Hello, everybody, and welcome back. So, we had an exciting day today. It was a morning show. It was my second daytime show for the Cosi Talk Strong Body series that I started last week. So, that was exciting. I had a lot of y'all show up and a lot of great engagement, a lot of great conversation. So, I'm going to take a couple of minutes. I'm going to move some stuff here, including Bob's pet dog, Fred. We're going to move him out of the way so I can get my notes here. All right, guys, I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes to jump on board. I'm getting my notes here ready for this evening. We've got a couple of great stuff, good questions lined up this evening for this evening's show. And I'm getting those up. So, guys, give me a shout out. There's Harsh. Hey, Joan. Hey, guys. So, guys, if you are watching the replay, okay, please say replay in the comments section. It helps me know. I do go back and I check to see all the different folks who are watching and any questions that those of you in the replay might be asking. Oops, there we go. I was looking for a page in my book that I wanted to show you guys tonight, so I found it. All right, let's see who we got on board. Joan says, have Wi-Fi. Yes, and water in your cup. Today, I am breaking my own rules, and I brought water here too, Joan. Cheers to you. All right, we got Benny on board. Glenda's back on board. Glenda was with me this morning too for my morning show. Thank you for coming back, Glenda. Really appreciate it. We got Joe Green. Howdy to you as well. We got Brett just with his water tonight. Seems to be the drink of the evening. We've got Linda on board. Let's see who else we got. Tom. Hey, Tom. Happy Wednesday to you, Robin. I'm so glad to see you. Leslie. There you are. You're supposed to email me back. All right. Let's see. What else do we got here? We got Matthew. Oh, okay. Hi, Matthew. We got Jody in Vegas. All right. So we've got a great crowd going this evening. And if I seem a little bit disorganized this evening, it's been a crazy day. Had some exciting things happen. I have to brag a little bit. My one daughter won the science fair for her school. So I am so excited, proud mom moment. My other daughter rocked it in her math quizzes and tests. So I'm so excited there. It's just one of those things where, you know, when you have kids and your kids have a victory, no matter how big or how small the victory, your day is all sunshine after that, regardless of what else goes on. Yeah. My fellow parents there with me. Hey, Fritz, good to see you. We got William Mays on board. So guys, this morning, how many of y'all were there? Let me see in the comment section. How many of you all came to my morning talk show, my new morning talk show? I just started it last week, okay? So in my new morning talk show, I am talking about Strong Body. That's that new exercise platform that I've been talking about nonstop for the past month, okay? So for those of you who have not been paying attention, about a month ago, I launched an exercise program, and there's the link for it, okay, with over 150 exercise videos all on that website that you can sign up for in a subscription, right? These exercises are for above the knee, below the knee, arms, legs, core, balance, and flexibility. And along with it, folks, you can also grab a book. Sorry, I'm opening it up the wrong way. So in this book are all the exercises in details with pictures, lots of descriptions, lots of education in here, okay, to go with it. So Glenda was there. I do remember you were there, Glenda. Linda was there. Linda was participating there. Brett, that's okay. That's why God invented the replay. We've got Liz from California. Matthew was there. Awesome. Hey, Patrick. David says, Newberry, South Carolina, green tea in my cup. And Denise says, great session. Awesome, guys. So this morning, last week, we talked all about the bridge, right? That is my number one favorite exercise for glute strengthening. Number one, right? Because there's so many different ways that you can modify it for an above the knee, below the knee, bilateral amputee, for someone who is just out of surgery and someone who's a high level athlete. And I showed you all of that last week. And then this morning, we talked about hip flexor tightness, right? Because that's a huge question I get from so many of you is hip flexor tightness and how to work on it, right? So this morning, I demonstrated 4. Yes, Mark, I said 4, not 3, not 5. 4 of my favorite ways to stretch out the hip flexor muscle. And again, for all all of my amputees out there. I included something in that video. So that is up on my Facebook, but it's really easy to find on my YouTube channel, guys. So you can go and find that information there. And I just kind of wanted to show you a picture of my favorite. Hopefully you guys can see that. That is my favorite way. I'm going to put it as close as I can. Okay. So in the top picture, right up here, right, you can see my model is lying with his residual limb on the mat. And then in the second picture, you can see him slowly lowering his limb. And that's giving his hip flexors, that front part of his hip, it's giving it a nice stretch. So for those of you, there's many of you out here who purchased my book. It's on page 121. All right. All that information, guys, on my YouTube channel. So you can check it out there. Hey, Chris, glad to have you from Iowa. So I probably should do my official introduction because I know I might have a couple of people out there who are new and are wondering, who is this crazy lady talking? My name is Cosi. I'm a physical therapist, amputee specialist here in Tampa, Florida. Ooh, stuff is falling down everywhere. I've been a PT now for 19 years, guys. This December marks the anniversary of my getting my license as a physical therapist. 19 years. I can still remember the day I got my license in the mail for the first time. Doesn't seem like that long ago. Anywho, my passion is obviously working with the limb loss community with my private outpatient clinic here in Tampa and also through this show and now my new Strong Body program. All right. So I've got my questions on here. So I'll be flipping screens back and forth. And let me go ahead. And guys, not too many questions for this evening. So if you want, go ahead and start posting your questions into the comments section. Keep me talking. Keep me talking. All right. So first question. This one was emailed to me. She says, "Hi, Cosi, love your show. My husband is a left below the knee amputee, and I was wondering if you had any information or thoughts on the Erdl amputation procedure for his revision. Considering doing it, but also hate having to go through another surgery and recovery process. Did TMR last year, targeted muscle reinnervation, and did not get the results we were hoping for. He has really bad bone spurs, so most likely we'll have to get those removed, and it was presented to do the Erdl at the same time. Thanks for any advice you may have." So there's a couple of things here that I would love to just kind of tackle. We've talked briefly about the Erdl procedure, and it's kind of a funny, interesting spelling. So it's spelled Erdl. I'm typing that in there. Erdl procedure, and it's called Erdl because it was developed by a Dr. Erdl, and I think it's sometime in the 1920s. It was actually quite a bit of ways ago. Okay, so with the Erdl procedure, where's Bob? Come here, Bob. Your turn. This is my reluctant model, Bob. Okay. So with a traditional amputation below the knee, the surgeon just goes and saws through these two bones. They will saw through the tibia bone, that's your shin bone, and then they will saw through the fibula. That's the little tiny bone on the outside, okay? And then they just close the muscle tissue over it, right? They don't connect the bones together. So basically this little bone, the fibula, is just kind of left floating in the soft tissue. That's how traditional amputations are done. So this gentleman, Erdl, decided to basically create a connection between the two bones. And I was actually reading up on it today. It's been a while since I've read my research and gotten caught up on the latest with Erdl. But there's a couple of different ways that they do it. But basically the main concept is they take these two bones and they put another bone. Usually they take it from your hip and they fuse it. Okay, so it creates a bony bridge, right? So it's a little bridge that goes like this. Okay. And then they do the myoplasty. So they do, or the myodesis, excuse me, where they take the surrounding muscles and they attach it one to the other, the one muscle to another muscle. Okay. So why would they do something like this? Well, with a traditional amputation, right, the little bone, fibula, is left kind of free floating in the soft tissue. And then also there can be no weight bearing at the end of those bones. All right. A lot of amputees don't realize this. When they have their amputation, they're not going to be able to put weight through the bottom of their residual limb. Right. And even people who aren't amputees, who are not involved with amputees in any way, they don't get that concept. And that's kind of a foreign concept. But you cannot put weight through the bottom of those bones. If you're a knee disarticulation, you can. If you're a Symes amputation or an ankle disarticulation, yes. But if you're a traditional transtibial below the knee or a traditional above the knee, you can't put weight into the bottom of that bone, right? And this is what creates so many challenges when a prosthetist is fitting your socket, because that prosthetist, he or she, needs to be very skilled at getting the body weight dispersed, right, throughout the rest of your soft tissues so that it doesn't go to the bottom of your bone. Is this making sense so far, guys? Are we good? Are we good? Can I get a thumbs up? Okay. So Blue Diva here had an Erdl AK AK. I don't know if you can't have an AK Erdl amputation. I think that was maybe just a little bit of a typo there. So anyways, so with the Erdl procedure, okay, it's basically meant to create a weight-bearing surface. That's probably like the big hallmark of the Erdl procedure, okay? Because you have that bony bridge there, you can now put weight through the end of this limb. Did I get your attention, David? I'm glad to hear that. Okay. You can put your weight through the end of the limb. Okay. So that means that there's an extra place for weight bearing. It also indicates that your sense of proprioception is going to be improved, right? Because you're putting weight directly into the bone. So you're getting that proprioceptive input directly through the bone as you almost would when you're walking normally with your anatomical leg, okay? So these are kind of like the basics of the Erdl procedure, okay? And guys, I'll be honest, I am not up to date on my research in terms of the outcomes for the Erdl. That's something I kind of have on my to-do list this week, is to kind of look up what the latest numbers are in terms of that. I can tell you just from my experience of working with folks who have had Erdl procedures, I've had just as many people say it was beneficial and other people say didn't notice a big difference between that and having a traditional amputation, okay? So Joe says, thank you guys. And those of you who've had Erdl procedures, I would love to hear your comments. Joe says, Erdl procedure was great for me. Had it done in my left leg in a revision. I'll be getting the right one done as soon as possible. I still have another revision on the left first. Too many surgeries. Hopefully it all helps. Okay. Yes, Patrick, it is a great board question. Okay. Okay. So going back to this woman's question about her husband getting the Erdl procedure. So she mentioned that her husband had TMR, okay, and it didn't work, okay? So TMR is a completely different procedure, and I've talked about it a lot on this show. I am actually a huge fan of TMR. We've had a surgeon come on board and talk twice about it, okay? Targeted muscle reinnervation, okay? That's basically where they take the nerve ending, okay, and they plug it back into the muscle tissue. Leslie, I just saw your email come in. Thank you, darling. All right. So they take that nerve ending and they plug it back into the muscle tissue. And that's to prevent the nerve from forming a painful neuroma. Okay. So if you have pain in your limb that is being caused by a neuroma, a TMR procedure works wonders, right? But if the pain in your limb is being caused by bone spurs, which it sounds like for this gentleman, that's what's going on, TMR is not going to really address that. Okay. It might address phantom pain. It might address neuroma pain. But if you're having pain from a bone spur, which is basically like extra bone formation that's forming, a TMR, not really meant for that. Now, in the case of this gentleman where he's probably going to have to go in to remove those bone spurs, okay, to do something like an Erdl procedure, I'd say it's worth that conversation with the surgeon, right? Especially if it can give him, if he's a good candidate, he's got good bone healing capacity, right? Because with that bony bridge, you have to heal, your body has to be able to heal that bone nicely, right? You gotta have good circulation going on in there. So I would say it's worth the conversation with the physician to see, yes, is he a candidate for the Erdl? Okay. Is it going to solve the problem with the bone spur? No, the Erdl does not directly solve problems with the bone spur. Taking the bone spurs out is what solves the problems with the bone spurs most of the time. Okay. Does that kind of make sense? I know I kind of talk a little bit here and there and everywhere sometimes with some of these questions, but there's a lot involved in some of these questions. All right, let's see. Okay. Brett, here's your question. You thought I'd forgotten about it, but I didn't. Brett says, I saw it on an amputee group and I wondered, is falling asleep with your prosthesis on a problem? That's a great question. We actually had a question similar to that a couple of weeks ago where somebody, I think they were either in a tornado watch or something crazy with the weather. And they asked, how many people sleep with their leg on if they know that there's going to be a weather crisis? And I'm like, dog, that's a good question, man. So here in Florida, it's all about the hurricanes, right? For us, it's hurricane season. When you got a hurricane bearing down on you, you kind of batten down the hatches. So, I can see about leaving your leg on just in case you have to make a quick exit. But as far as sleeping with your leg on, it's not recommended. Not recommended, guys. It's like for ladies, it's like going to bed with a full face of makeup. No bueno. Not good. Not good for your skin. Not good for your circulation. Okay. No, I never recommend for any of my patients to go to sleep with their prosthesis on. Now, here's the thing. There's a lot going on. Number one, your skin. Okay. The skin is like the number one thing here. Your skin needs to breathe at night. Okay. It's been stuck in the basic equivalent of a garbage bag all day long, right? A lot of these liners, a lot of these plastic hard sockets, they're not meant to breathe. If anything, they have to encase your skin. That's how they give you that stability, right? And that's how they give you that protection. Okay. So at the end of the day, your skin just needs to take a deep breath. Okay. And you've got to baby your skin. Y'all have heard me talk about, here are my products. Here's the products I like to use, right? We got my Vital Fit, the cleanser. We've got the nighttime moisturizer. So nice. So nice right here. Okay. So your skin needs to be pampered and babied after you take off your prosthesis at night. Okay. The only thing, if you are wearing anything on your limb at night, it's your shrinker. Okay. And many times I will recommend that a person continue to wear their shrinker if they're still experiencing problems with their limb volume. Okay. So especially if in the morning when you wake up and you can't put your leg into your socket because it became too swollen overnight, then yes, wearing your shrinker at night is something that I recommend. But even for people who wear shrinkers at night, I tell them, let your leg breathe just a little bit, even if it's just for a half an hour after you take your leg off. Let that skin breathe. If you are putting lotion on, make sure that lotion has soaked in all the way and your limb is nice and dry before you put your shrinker on. Yeah, I know, Patricia. I love me some Vital Fit. Let me tell you, I love me some Vital Fit. So guys, yeah. Have you guys ever heard of that? I know every once in a while I'll hear about someone who wears their prosthesis to sleep at night. And I'm just sitting there going, right? Like, I mean, that's cool that you think your prosthesis is so, you're so in tune with your prosthesis that it feels like a part of your leg and you go to sleep with it on. But, right? Okay. Yeah. All right. So Denise says, skin irritation gone with Vital Fit. I use the cleanser daytime, lotion, and nighttime. Awesome. I love hearing this, guys. I love hearing when these products work for people because I know how much easier it made my life as a clinician to be able to give this to my patients and know that it works. So happy to hear that you guys are using it. All right, here we go. Joe. Okay, Joe says, my surgeon won't even entertain TMR as an option. Ooh. He doesn't believe it's any more effective than ablation. Any advice or literature I could point him towards? Oh, Joe, you've come to the right place. Okay, so here's the thing. I recently, and Joe, you know what, Joe? Let's do this. This is my email. I am putting it out there. Okay. And you guys can find this email on my website and email me questions, guys. I look at all of my emails and I answer all of my emails across the board. Joe, I want you to email me here to that address I just put up there. Okay. And I want you to give me a nudge. I have access to a directory of surgeons across the United States that perform TMR surgery. Do I have your attention, Joe? Okay. That's who you need to talk to. Okay. You need to talk to a surgeon who has done TMR surgeries. Okay. Because the surgeon who's done TMR surgeries, they've also done the traditional ablation. Okay. That's why they're doing TMR, because they know that TMR works. Okay. It works. I don't have the research in front of me, Joe, but I can certainly point you to a directory of surgeons that you can call and make an appointment with, to somebody who is in your area. And what I like about this particular, for example, the surgeon who came on the show, Dr. Dedesi, he's been on the show a couple of times. They'll be the first one to tell you whether or not you're a candidate. Okay, Joe? And that's the thing. My reason for sending people to a surgeon who's done TMR is because a surgeon who's done TMR is going to know how to properly diagnose a neuroma to see if that is truly where the pain is coming from. Because if it's not coming from a neuroma, then you're going to be treating the wrong thing and you're undergoing a surgical procedure in vain, right? So go to a surgeon who's done TMR so that they can examine you properly and tell you if you're really a candidate for it. Okay, Joe, if you're going to go in there to have a nerve ablation, I would say go in there and just get the TMR done. Honestly. And I'm going to dig up some literature. But Joe, it all starts with you sending me an email, please. Send me an email, okay, and nudge me so that I can send you that information. Thumbs up? Yes. No, Joe, before you have any more revisions done, look at this list. Have a talk with one of these doctors. I'd be happy to try to put you, I know one of the doctors, and I'll look for someone. There was a lovely lady in Arkansas that she was trying so hard to help her mother-in-law, and I was able to put her in touch with one of those surgeons. So yes, Joe, give me a nudge to that email. All right, hang on. Oh, Blue Diva, thank you for clarifying that. I looked at your message and I was like, I don't know if that's right or not. So you said you had the TMR as an above the knee and he reattached the muscles to the femur. So my quads and hamstring are still strong. Hope this makes sense. Yes, that makes sense. Thank you. Debbie asks, what about just wearing the liner to bed? Nope. And here's why, Debbie. A lot of people think that their liner is the same thing as using a shrinker. It's not, okay? The liner is not designed to provide compression. The liner is designed to have total contact, okay? Does that make sense? Where's my... I can tell my kids I have 4 kids, guys. For those of you watching for the first time, I got 4 beautiful kids. And I always know when they've been in my studio because like Bob is all in a funky position and I'm missing half of my stuff. Okay. So when you have, let's just pretend this is a residual limb. I know it's a socket, but whatever. So when you put the liner on your residual limb, it's kind of like gently hugging your limb, right? And it's supposed to be in total contact so that it doesn't move around. The shrinker is supposed to be providing active compression. So it's supposed to be compressing the bottom of your limb to help with circulation. So it's 2 different purposes, and they're also made out of 2 different materials. Okay. A shrinker is going to be made out of an elastic, I don't know if it's like a spandex polyester mix material. It's a little more breathable. Your liner is not breathable. Okay. It will not allow air to go in and out. And again, it's in complete total contact with your skin. Okay. So I know it doesn't make sense because you're like, well, the shrinker is in total contact with my skin too. Yeah. But the shrinker is breathable. Okay. It's a lot more breathable than a liner is. So no. Not just the liner. Nighttime. Okay. Trying to get through. Thank you, Debbie. David says swelling can happen and you can have to have it cut off or lead to a higher amputation if loss of circulation is caused. Yeah. Okay. Rebecca says, a surgeon at my hospital in Pennsylvania started doing TMR a year ago. He let me observe a few in the OR and it was fascinating. I am so jealous, Rebecca. I am dying to get into the OR to observe. I've been able to see some of the videos some of the educational videos that they have demonstrating the TMR procedure in theater. And so cool. So cool. Nerd right here. Fellow nerd right there with Rebecca. Love it. All right. Blue Diva says TMR did help with some of her nerve pain spikes. And again, guys, it's one of those procedures that you got to, it's kind of a simplistic way of looking at it. You got to do something with that nerve, right? You either have to cut it, as traditionally has been done for centuries, or you have to plug it back into a muscle. I haven't really seen any downside, and again, I'm going to check the literature, to just plugging it back into the muscle. So why not just do it? We all know that just transecting that nerve and letting it pull back into the tissue is going to cause problems. Okay. It's going to cause problems. So why not just plug it back into the muscle? Just right in. There it goes. All right. Again, with a skilled surgeon, a surgeon who has done this in the past. Joe says my revision was canceled just 2 weeks ago. Maybe it was for a reason. David says my surgeon did the TMR at the time of amputation. I don't take any meds for phantom pain. Yeah. I mean, that part I can tell you from the literature that the closer to your original amputation that you do TMR, the greater chance of success. And obviously if you do it at the time of your amputation, that's what's going to set you up for the best. Okay. Hey, compadre. Thanks for joining, man. Give a hug to the comadre. All right, Chuck, thank you for joining. And guys, I am broadcasting as well to my YouTube channel. So for those of you who prefer to stay off of social media, YouTube, you can find me live there under Cosi Talks as well. Rebecca says there's not a downside. If the TMR fails, then it's like the surgeon did a standard amputation anyways. There we go. There you go. You got to love the autocorrects. All right, guys, let me check back to my question sheet and see. Ooh, here's a good one. Nancy says, my veteran husband had his below the knee amputation at the end of September this year. And besides what resources he has available via the military base, I'm always looking for anything to help speed up his healing and recovery. So thankful to be here. Question, since he started physical therapy and he's been out of shape for several years now, he's really sore and hurting at the hips, shin, etc. What do you suggest or recommend to help alleviate this? Something simple like an Epsom salt bath? And yeah, so guys, the reason behind muscle soreness, okay, and we did this a lot in the 2020 live event series, and that's on my YouTube channel as well, where I did a full show on muscle physiology, strengthening, and all that. How many of you guys remember that one? Show of hands. Hey, Van Gregory, joining in just at the right time. Show of hands. How many of you guys remember seeing that muscle anatomy, physiology, and strengthening video I did on the live series? No? Anybody? Crickets chirping? Nothing? All right. So guys, in order to strengthen a muscle, okay, you've got to provide overload, right? So when you overload the muscle, you create, thank you, Brett, you create little micro tears in the muscle, right? And then as those micro tears heal, it heals back stronger. There's my folks. Debbie saw it. William saw it. Hey, Mona, haven't seen you here in a long time. Nice to see you, girl. All right. So as those micro tears heal, they heal back a little bit stronger. But in the meantime, those micro tears are causing inflammation, right? A lot of people will blame muscle soreness from exercise on lactic acid. Lactic acid gets a really bad rep. And in reality, lactic acid gets filtered out of your body a lot faster than you think. It's the inflammation from those micro tears that cause that actual soreness. Okay. Hey, Marianne, you're late, but no, that's why God invented the replay. I can't even talk this evening, folks. Okay. So guys, when you have a lot of muscle soreness from a workout because you're starting physical therapy again, or you're starting to get into your fitness program again, it's because of all of that inflammation in those little micro tears. And much like the inflammation that you had after surgery, right? What is the number one way to help resolve inflammation? Those of you who've been watching my show for the past couple of years should know the answer to this question. Let's see who can answer that question. What is the number one way to resolve inflammation? You know what? I'm going to sweeten the pot. The first person who can give me the correct answer, I'm going to send you a Cosi Talks mug. All right? And I see one over there. What is the number one way to help resolve inflammation, whether it's right after surgery or whether it's because you've just had a really hard workout? I'm going to wait for a few more answers to come in, and then I'm going to tell you who got the right answer. We got a lot of good answers. All right. Marianne, you are my big winner. Light exercise, movement. That is the best way to help resolve inflammation. All of the other questions you guys put in there, all the other answers you put in there, compression, water, massages, ice, okay? These are all great answers. And yes, we all use all of this together, okay? We put all of this together to help resolve the inflammation. But the number one way to start resolving inflammation is movement. Why? Because with movement, we're contracting our muscles, and we start using those muscles as a pump to push that inflammation out. Okay. So if you're right after surgery, and obviously the last thing you want to do minutes after you're waking up from your surgery is listen to that physical therapist telling you to move. But right after surgery, you start moving, you start activating those muscles, right? You start pumping that inflammation out of there, and your pain starts to go down. Same thing when you are starting a new workout. Okay. That's why you feel better when you take those first creaky steps and you just start moving. And once you get moving, all of a sudden you feel a little bit more limber, right? Because you've got more circulation going. It's help pumping that inflammation out. Yeah. Okay. Felicia, yes, I would highly recommend it. Also, Felicia, I have 2 videos where I had an orthopedic surgeon on the show explaining in detail about TMR, okay, targeted muscle reinnervation. So Felicia, when you get a chance, go to my YouTube channel. I'm just plugging left and right tonight. No shame to me. No shame to me today for me. I can't talk today. Okay. So Felicia, if you want to know more about TMR, right click on that one and you can find the videos that I have on TMR. That's right, Marianne. So Marianne, darling, I know you have my email. Send me your address and I'm going to send you a Cosi Talks mug. Okay. So guys, those of you right now who are doing fitness programs, those of you who might be doing my strong body fitness program, if you're waking up the next morning and you're sore, okay, before you reach for that Tylenol or ibuprofen, start moving. Okay. Just gentle movement. And yes, compression. If you're having soreness in your residual limb because of that, the shrinker can be a great way. I love using ice, okay? In some cases, a foam roller as well, but just the basics of movement, okay? The other thing you might want to consider, guys, and I do this a lot. I do this a lot with my own patients, especially when I have new patients coming in, okay? I do their treatment, right? And I prescribe the exercises for that treatment on day 1. And I might see them on day 3 or day 4. On day 3 or day 4, I ask them if they're still sore, okay, by the 2nd or 3rd day, if they're still feeling soreness, then I know we did too much. We did too much, okay? If their soreness is starting to resolve, then I know that we can start working again on that muscle group, and I will fine tune the exercise prescription accordingly. Okay. More soreness does not equate to you did a better job. Okay. So if you're waking up 2, 3, 4 days later and you're still sore, that means you're probably out of shape, a little more out of shape than you thought. And B, you need to just back off just a little bit on that exercise intensity to allow your body time to heal and to strengthen properly with a good foundation. Okay. Ben Gregory says, I believe my daily push-ups helped me complete an adaptive wall climb this past weekend. That's awesome. I got strapped in with an adaptive chest and leg harness, bilateral below the knee, and no prosthetics. I did that once, Ben Gregory. I did a rock climbing clinic with OPAP and adaptive rock climbing. So much fun. So much fun. So Ben Gregory, I'd be curious. I know we had Ronnie Dixon. He's an amazing prosthetist. He was at one point the #2 rock climber in the world, and he's an above the knee amputee. He was outfitting some of the above the knee and the bilaterals with a goat foot. So it was just like this little, it looked like a stubby, but it was just a little bit smaller on the bottom of the socket. So the person would use their sound limb on one side or the bilateral. They would just put the goat foot at the bottom, and it allowed them to get a good grip on the wall with the rock climbing. So Van Gregory, well done. Well done. Brett says, I can't move. I have a lease. Okay. Good morning, Manoj. Thank you for joining us. Okay, guys, I think I covered all the questions that were submitted this week. Yay, go me. So once again, guys, if you have any questions, I'm going to put down, I have a couple of different email addresses that I answer. That's probably the easiest one to remember, Cosi@cositalks.com. So guys, if you do have any questions, don't be shy. Email me the messages. I will get back to you within a couple of business days at the latest. Okay. Joe, you have your homework assignment. You're supposed to email me to remind me to give you that directory for the TMR surgeons. Felicia, I want you to go check that video on YouTube. Marianne, you're supposed to send me your address for the Cosi Talks mug. Did I get everybody? Did we get everybody? Okay. So guys, next Wednesday, right? Wednesdays are going to be a crazy day on the Cosi Talk Show. We have a morning show at 11 a.m. and I was requested to do something on balance, and I've got a really good balance exercise for you guys. And again, I will be teaching you how to do that balance exercise for below the knee, above the knee, bilateral, beginner, intermediate, advanced. And it's going to be from my really fancy garage back there. So we were going to have a good time teaching you that balance exercise. Those of you, if you haven't already done so, guys, take a look. Show me some love. Y'all need to do some Christmas shopping, right? Or you need to ask your loved one to put this into your stocking, a subscription to the Cosi Talk Strong Body Program or my Below the Knee strengthening book, fitness exercise book, all in here. All right, guys, check it out. Brett, see, I know Brett has the videos and the book because he's talking about the cockroach exercise. Yes, there's a cockroach exercise in here, guys. It's fun. All right, guys. So next week, 11 a.m., we're going to be doing the exercises. Next week at 8:30 p.m., my Christmas show. Okay, last year I brought in my beautiful cellist, Suzanne. She's a below the knee amputee and she's a professional cellist. I brought in my childhood friend, Colleen, and she will be coming back, and I will be on the fiddle, on the violin, and we are going to be doing a Christmas Carol concert. So guys, I'm going to be posting a post on that, and I want you guys to start putting in your request for Christmas carols, okay? Got it? And even something for Hanukkah. I know Mark out there wanted me to play the dreidel song again, and I'm going to play that for him. Oh, good, Linda. I'm so glad. Linda, that makes me so happy to hear that. Guys, if you get a chance, visit the website, check it out, share this video out with your support groups. And I am going to go ahead and sign off now. I will see you guys next week, 11 a.m. for the morning exercise program, 8:30 p.m. all Eastern time for the Christmas Carol concert. All right, guys, have a great rest of your week. I can't talk tonight.